I think the part of the problem is that it's fashion and single led. So record companies don't sit down so much now and say, well, we've got this artist, and we think in 2 or 3 album times they would have created a market for themselves. It's like they'll get Tasman Archer and they'll hype her and they'll bung her in with a big single. It's number one, and her last 3 singles have done very little. And what are they going to do now? They're going to support her? Are they going to dump her? Or do you know what I mean? It's too erratic. It's not fair for an artist to be put through that. There's no momentum.
So British pop music is looking for like the British George Michael, who put out 3 Thriller albums with 25 singles.
No, you don't need that either. You just need bands. You just need bands to come along and be given the chance to do what they want to do without kowtowing to the record company or the producer. And I think a lot of bands at the moment who get regular success in British charts, basically they're puppets for the producer. You can tell it's the producer doing the work.
Name anyone?
I don't need to name them. They're in the charts day in, day out. Everyone knows who they are. I don't need to name them. And I think if they were left to their own devices, it would be a waste of money in the studio and a very long session probably.
Songwriting is the most important thing that record companies can invest in. Songwriters. People who can create new music. Otherwise you get into cover upon cover upon cover. So whether you have an artist that can perform the songs is another story. If I was working in a record company, my main thing would be writers, finding writers, people who can actually produce new ideas. They could be programmers, they could be producers, they could be actual songwriters, they could be lyricists, they could be anything, arrangers, but people who can create out of nothing new things. So the thing at home, we've had a lot of bands doing a lot of covers lately, and it's not very interesting. Which is why, for a lot of young people, electronic games have taken over the area where they spend their money, because pop music is not talking to them particularly. It's George Michael is incredibly talented, and so is Simply Red are incredibly talented, but it's not the sort of music that a 15-year-old boy is going to go out and buy. That's not what he listens to. It's not what he wants.
So it's much easier to fabricate a band than it is to fabricate a good song, I think. You can always, if you find the writers, it's easy to put a band together, like Big Fun, what they call it, that sort of thing. Where you just got an image to front a good song. Or in their case, they're not quite so good a song. But it's finding that song that's difficult.
I mean, the interesting thing is when we do promotional work in the UK and we do road shows. There'll be us and there'll maybe another 10 acts on, and we're the only band that is, first of all, older than the rest of them. I mean, they're all about 3 feet tall, and they're all with their mums and dads. It's such a young market in many ways. And when we first started with Sexy and all that stuff happened, and we were in Smash Hits, we looked completely out of place. I mean, we were in Smash Hits, and there's us old enough to be the fathers of most of the acts that were in there.
I think record companies still get it wrong. They still imagine you get a pretty face and someone to write the songs, and you have this sort of package. When in fact they would be much better off investing in bands like U2, Dire Straits, Duran Duran, Kate Bush. People who have some longevity. I mean, if you took the people behind Bros, like Tom Watkins, and the people behind Duran Duran, who's made the most money? Duran Duran have, because they've been there for 10 years.
You mentioned Kate Bush. Kate Bush was an inspirational piece of signing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Really. I mean, whether you like Kate Bush or not, first time I heard Wuthering Heights on the radio, I thought it was a joke record. I thought it was I thought it was a laugh. I thought somebody was having a joke with that funny little voice. And she's turned out to be one of the most interesting songwriters in Britain that we've ever produced, I think. You don't have to like her, but she's definitely a one-off. So, and that's good.